Bro, 1.2 mil. Did you see that hit? How's it going, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about a Bone Spirit Necromancer build that I found. And before we get into the video at all, I want to say that the link to the build is going to be in the description if you want a full, detailed, like written out report on the build and everything you need for the Paragon. I'm also going to be showing everything in the video as well as gameplay. So if you do want to stick around and see that, that's what you're going to be seeing in this video. Also, I want to give credit to Macro Boy. He is the one who put together this amazing Necromancer build on maxroll.gg. Again, that link will be in the description. Build is amazing, absolutely nuking, and I had to make a video on it just to show you guys some of the different ins and outs of it and to give you some footage of how the build is working. So first thing that I'm going to do is we're going to jump right into it. I'm going to go over the skill tree with you guys and the Paragon board, and then I'll show you the Book of the Dead as well as the different armor pieces that I have and the way to optimize the build to get more damage out of it. So we're going to be taking, right away, we're going to be taking Reap, and then we're going to come down, we're going to take Unliving Energy because we want more essence, as much essence as possible in this build. We're going to be taking Hued Flesh for Lucky Hit for more corpses. We're going to be taking Blood Mist. So this is not only is this an iframe, it can help us get out of sticky situations, but it does heal us as well, and you can use pots while you are inside the Blood Mist, so you could use it and then use a pot to get your health back up. We're going to take Corpse Explosion all the way over to Blighted Corpse. We're then going to take Grim Harvest and Fueled by Death just to get more damage and essence generation out of our Corpse Explosion. We're going to be taking Death's Embrace for more damage for enemies close to us. And then we're going to go down to Tendrils. We're going to max out Tendrils. We're going to go over to Enhanced Corpse and then Plague Corpse Tendrils for vulnerability when we pull everyone in. We're going to take Reaper's Pursuits, and we're going to take one in Crippling Darkness. So we have a 15% chance to stun the enemies when they're in a darkness. And we're going to take Serration. We're going to take 3 in the top one and 3 in the bottom. So our bone skills will do increased critical strike damage to vulnerable enemies, which is from the Corpse Tendrils, which you will see in the gameplay footage. Bone Spirit, this is the bread and butter of the build. This is where all the damage is going to come from, and it is absolutely insane. I was hitting 1.2 mil plus numbers, just one-shotting elites. It is insane. We're level 74, world tier 4. I did some nightmare dungeons as well to tier 24. They were exponentially higher levels than me, probably like 5 levels higher. I bet we could have pushed it even farther, but I had to get this video out and just show you guys. It is just nuts, some of the critical hits and damage that it does on these elites. So if Bone Spirit critically strikes, its cooldown is reduced by 6 seconds, so it's halved, so it's ready in 6 seconds again. And then after Bone Spirit hits an enemy, you generate 30 essence over the next 4 seconds, so this is helping your essence generation to keep the essence back up. What Bone Spirit does, it's going to consume all your essence, and it's going to do more. It's upon reaching enemy, the spirit's going to explode. Damage to the target and all surrounding enemies. Damage is increased by 3% for each point of essence spent casting Bone Spirit, so it's just going to do more if you have max essence, which the point of this build is to keep the essence up as high as possible. We're going to be taking Standalone because we're going to be sacrificing our minions, and then we're going to be taking Memento, sacrificing both skeletal warriors and mages, increase their sacrifice bonus by 60%, just making it that much better. And we are taking Bone Storm. Bone Storm is amazing for survivability with this build. We do have an aspect I'll be showing you that helps a ton with it, as well as we get damage reduction and critical strike chance increased by 20% when Bone Storm is active. And then we're going to be taking Essence, so this one just does more damage above 50 Essence. It's absolutely insane. To kind of show the Paragon board, this is how much I have at level 74. I also have all my Renown done and all the Lilith statues, so I have an extra 24 Paragon, so that's why we're able to get as far as we are at 74. But this is essentially all the way you're going to take it, and the link in the description, it does have the full Paragon board. But this is what it's going to look like. This is the glyph we're going to take for the first slot. So every 5 decks within range, you deal 2% increased damage to close targets. This just helps us nuke a little bit better. We're going to take these 2 rare nodes. We're going to go all the way up. We're going to be taking Flesh Eater for our first board. We're going to take it up and get another glyph, which is going to be our Gravekeeper glyph. Grants 45% bonus to all rare nodes within range. I've been upgrading this. You're going to want to run Nightmare Dungeons to get your glyphs upgraded. And if you don't have the glyph, you got to keep farming different types of content like Hellgates and Nightmares to get some glyph drops. You're going to take it all the way to the second board, and we're going to be taking the Bone Graph board. So hitting enemies with bone skills increases your damage by 1%, and your maximum essence by 3 for 8 seconds stacks up to 8%. X increased damage and 24 maximum essence. We're maximizing essence as much as possible to increase the damage of that Bone Spirit. This Bone Spirit is the all-around purpose of this build. Bone Spirit just hitting like a truck is the purpose of this build. We're gonna be taking this rare node at the top to give us maximum essence and essence on kill. So every single time we nuke, we're gonna get more essence, and then we're gonna be taking the magical nodes to give us more essence on kills. And then we're going to be taking this rare note as well. Critical strike damage with bone skills. We're going to be trying to increase that across the board. And we're just going to be increasing that as much as possible. Book of the Undead. We're sacrificing the warriors, going for critical strike chance by 5%. We're going to go back. We're going to take the Shadow. Your maximum S is increased by 15. And for the Golem, we're going to be taking you deal 30% increased critical strike damage. And we're sacrificing the Iron Golem. So that's the full build for that. These are going to be the armor pieces that we're working with. Again, in the build, it's going to show more optimal showing of the armor pieces, but this is the build that I've been using, and so far it's good. So we can actually see the base critical strike chance is 33%. There's two main things you want if you even want to attempt this build first off. There's things for survivability, but there's two aspects that you need. The Ossified Essence key passive increases critical strike damage of your bone skills by 1% per essence above 50, up to 60% between 60 to 80. This one is insane because it's going to increase your damage when it's above those essence, as well as when you are above the 50 essence mark, your bone spirit's doing even more damage. This is supposed to be on the amulet. I actually have them flipped right now, so you want to put this over there, and then you want to take this one. So gain 27% increased critical strike chance for 6 seconds when you cast Corpse Tendrils. You deal 81% bonus critical strike. So your chance for a critical strike can max up to, I believe it's 40%. So it doubles on the two-handed weapons. So if you want this down there, so you have a higher number for that, so you Corpse Tendril in, your critical strike chance will be increased. You can also Bone Storm for another 20% critical strike chance increase. So right here, we're already rocking like what, 90% critical strike chance. And then there's things like pots and your rings that you can increase your critical strike chance and damage. All of these together, if stacked, you can get this build up to 100% critical strike chance, which is just absolutely nuts for nuking mobs, elites, and bosses. So this is the full setup. Each time Bone Storm damages an enemy, you get a barrier equal to 4% of your base life. This one is really good for survivability with Bone Storm. Damaging an elite enemy grants you a barrier. This is another good one. We have the unique Howl from Below. So this turns your corpse explosion into volatile corpses, just doing more damage, and they seek out targets. We put 0.5% increased armor for 4 seconds when you deal any form of damage, stacking up to 50%, just more survivability, and we're also putting more health on the build. And then you leave behind a frost that chills enemies, dealing 9% more damage to chilled enemies. You could do this one. There is also another aspect that when you do any type of critical strike damage, you get a movement speed increase. You could do that one as well, but I have liked these greaves because they've worked really well for me. And then for the rings, there's restore your primary resources when you crowd control an enemy, so your Corpse Tendrils. You want to get this one at 4. I have it at 1. I have the lowest roll right now. You want it to have it at 4. This one I just recently added. There is another one that you can use, but this one is you deal 25% increased damage while you have a barrier active. This build is not even fully optimized, and I'm already having just completely nuts amount of damage and clears in all of the world tier 4 contents that I'm doing, and I'm not even having a problem at all with survivability. It's just absolutely insane. And right now I'm just farming Hell Tides and Whispering Tree and doing a lot of the Nightmare Dungeons to try to get my glyphs upgraded and get more of these different pieces of aspects that are higher, that have higher rolls on them and higher stats, so that we can get this build damage optimized as much as possible. But that's going to be it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have some fun with this Bone Spirit Necromancer build. I'm going to put some couple minutes of footage at the end of this video so you can see the build in action and some of the nuking and kind of the rotation that I do with it. Other than that, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see all of you in the next video.